All right, Devil's Due. This is one of those infamous episodes that does something with mythology that is strange and quite interesting, to be honest. So, what happens is that while they're doing, regular human things, or pretending to, in the case of Data, they get a call from a Federation science station on Vintex 2. Now, the Ventaxians are a very strange civilization because of the fact that while they used to be a warp capable civilization, they decided to forsake all use of technology because, it was polluting the environment and stuff like that, and used, other more environmentally friendly options. And now their lives are like a paradise. Do I believe this? No. But hey, whatever. It's science fiction. Notably, that same plot was used for the Baku in Star Trek Insurrection, where they were escaping a heavily polluted planet and settled on the planet in the Briar Patch, which they transformed into an agrarian colony. I'm not going to say paradise because, nah, but it was a, reasonably successful colony. So here we have a civilization whose version of, well, let's just put it, a supernatural being that they all fear is a being called Ardra, and is being portrayed by this female humanoid who from a species we've never seen before. This comes up a lot in TNG. They'll have an alien from a race that you don't know what is and never tell you what race this alien was from. Secondary canon doesn't even tell us anything about this one. And that's shocking. Now, this episode was originally one of the unused script ideas for TOS. Yeah, got written by Gene Roddenberry himself in the original version of the script, and got tinkered with a lot, and also it's like it got changed from a male antagonist to a female antagonist who is genuinely trying to seduce Picard. Like, yeah, she really, really tries. Note, however, though, her face. Like, this is apparently her real face. The clothes are not, but hey, And she also has the ability to use her holographic disguises to pretend to be someone else, such as Deanna Troy. She doesn't have Deanna Troy's ability to read people's minds, though. And here she is dressed up in a Starfleet uniform. Notably, it's only one pip uh, uh, ensign that she's impersonating. Again, though, this is apparently her real face. It's the same face you see in the other shot. And let's see here. What else we got? Oh, I opened that one twice. Oops. Here we have Ardra as Fek'lhr. I don't believe this is actually played by Marta Dubois. This is someone else. One of the people who does like regular background acting, I think. Now, one of the things that's noteworthy in this is that what Ardra says about Fek'lhr isn't actually the way that Klingons normally see Fek'lhr, and was one of the tells that Ardra was not being truthful, is because she's a con woman who's not 100% familiar with the material she's trying to run with. Because again, this is a con she's never pulled before. So it's new material for her to work with. So her pretending to be Fek'lhr, well, I mean, other things. This was basically an episode that ended up being a giant dialogue puzzle. There's certain moments that are mildly tense, like when Ardra uh, does a trick to make the Enterprise disappear. The funny part with that is that she actually cloaked it. How she prevented the crew of the shuttlecraft that Picard was on from sensing or just sending a subspace radio transmission to the Enterprise and getting a response, I don't know, because of the fact that the cloaking technology she used was said to be a copy of Romulan cloaking technology, and Romulan cloaking technology does not act as a communications dampener. Oh, well. Oh, hey, the contract of Ardra is kind of fake. He's like, Ventaxians believe that Ardra was one of the most important beings in their world's history. And Ardra is attempting to um, imitate, or okay, that alien woman. We never actually find out what her real name is. That's another thing about this. It's interesting. The only name the alien imposter uses is Ardra, and that's not her real name. And the Enterprise D crew proves that imposter is a fake, and everyone goes home. Doing this as a TTRPG, it has a lot of stuff that you could put a TTRPG party through. Like, it's like, here's the monster of the week. Here's a diplomatic mission that you need to take care of. I mean, yes, you could assassinate Ardra, I suppose, but that's not going to make the Ventaxians happy. I mean, unless you lie to the Ventaxians and tell them that she's disappeared or something. Oh yeah, we only have the Athena vaults. Oh yeah, this is also an episode where they have some pretty impressive cityscapes. Remember what I said earlier about how they abandoned their technology? And oh wait, why do they have these giant cities? Like, how do they keep these cities properly maintained if they abandoned the technology they used to build them? Fascinating question. Don't know. The episode doesn't actually go that deep into how Ventaxian civilization actually works. But it is actually quite an impressive level of sophistication in their civilization overall. You know what? Yeah, I should use this one for the thumbnail. And of course, Picard's crew have to research the documents relating to the contract of Ardra because of the fact that it's the core aspect of the entire episode's plot. Thus, they need to understand every single word of it in order to prove that the imposter is, actually an imposter. Well, actually, no, that was mostly just to stall while they found a way to unmask her as a fake. Now, this is something that's interesting. Picard, as a method to distract Ardra, um, told her that he would take her to find the fabled Zatterl Emerald uh, if Ardra won the court case and was, in fact, awarded um, custody of the planet. It's something he offered, anyways, which is an interesting bit of world building because, like, wait, how does Picard know where to find this thing? Hmm. Instead, Ardra decides she wants Picard as her personal slave because remember what I said earlier about how she's trying to seduce him? Do I understand why? No, but she is. And so apparently Ardra really wanted Picard in her bed. Seriously. Hmm. Oh yeah, we don't ever see what that particular gemstone looks like. Um, it says it's an emerald, so presumably it's green, but that's literally the only thing we know about it. Here's some stuff the Wadi uses gems. Yes. I forget which TOS episode this was from, but yeah, that was a lot of gems too. Whatever. Done with this. Oh, that was Cat's Paw. Okay. Dum dum dum. Speaking flame gems. Oh, that's a tiny picture. Those are very colorful stones, however. Hmm. Anyway, enough of that. So, Ardra's goal with this is something that you having your players try to find a solution to is something that you would have to manage carefully because, again, having your players go murder Hobo and assassinate Ardra is not exactly something that would result in a good ending for the story. Now, of course, there is the idea of Ardra's assassination being used as a method to unmask her, but it would leave a lot more questions than answers. It's like, yes, this was a fake Ardra, but what was going on? However, most of those questions I was alluding to are things that don't get answered in the episode as aired because they don't follow up after Ardra gets unmasked as a fraud. The episode's just, okay, we're done now. Bye. And that is something you'll probably end up doing in a TTRPG. Having your players unmask Ardra as a fraud. I mean, maybe that'll be session one. And then going from there into sessions two and three, It's like one thing that's very noteworthy to remember about Ardra. The tech Ardra has, while it's not something that the Federation considers sci-fi future tech, it's not bad tech. It is quite competent technology. And that is something worth paying attention to when imitating this for a TTRPG story. The imposter has tech that is genuinely something that is compelling by Federation standards. It's not, unknowable tech. It's understandable tech, but it's good tech. And other than that, I mean, just have your players do dialogue puzzles, have your players do investigations because I presumably you would not actually use the real Ardra. You would probably go with a different um, society because let's face it, if your players have seen this episode and they hear the name Ardra, they're probably going to immediately think about certain very specific things and then be like, "Oh, it's that again," and then just jump on it, which you as a game master may or may not want. I mean, you could try to throw a wrench into it and encourage them to find a different solution than the one Picard did, which, okay, could be fun. Other than that, though, it's a relatively simple episode because of the fact that everything is focused on the whole imposter story angle. There's no real secondary plot in this one. There's like two or three different kinds of main plot instead of having a secondary plot in this episode. So, and of course, like the number of revisions the writing went through this one, it kind of shows because of the fact that they had to write this very, very carefully to make it work right. And I think they actually got it pretty well. Although some of Ardra's disguises are dumb looking. Um, why exactly Ardra turned into a Starfleet ensign, I have no idea. But I mean, she's kind of sort of pretending to be part of the Enterprise's crew when that happens. But what she was hoping to gain by it is questionable at best. Also, this whole devil disguise is like, you do realize, of course, that even by 20th century Earth standards, that's considered unbelievable. Like, no one would buy that. It looks like a dime store costume. Not even a good one. More like something you made in your backyard. Anyway, though. So, oh yeah, NPCs. There's a lot of them. The Ventaxian government. Now, this is yet another one of those times when TNG has a near human race. And the question is, they're being used as a stand-in for humans, but they want that to write people who, while they are in no way dissimilar from humans, are technically not humans because humans are in the Federation. So they have Ventaxians in this episode and use Ventaxian mythology as the core focus of the episode instead of human mythology. I mean, human mythology does get invoked once or twice, as does Klingon mythology, and a few others get discussed briefly. But for the most part, it is Ventaxian mythology that is the focus of the episode. And the whole thing with Ardra is like their most um noteworthy politic or mythological figure. And when it's revealed that Ardra is a fake, the Ventaxians are like, "Oh, well, someone was trying to trick us. Oh well, time to put her in a gulag and never let her leave the planet ever again." That was an interesting reaction. And while they don't go into a whole lot of detail here, they do allude to having found evidence in Ardra's ship that Ardra had pulled cons on multiple other planets, but they don't in, explain what those cons were, what planets those were, what quadrant of the galaxy those were in. They don't talk about any of that stuff. That is something you could have fun with if you were doing this in a TTRPG. What were those 23 other identities that Ardra had used in this sector? That is a lot of stuff you to have fun with. Investigating Ardra's history like that. Because, like, this is the closest we ever see to the real Ardra, which, isn't actually real. Oh, yeah. What does it say about the imposters thing? Yeah, I think that's about it. Like I said before, it's like having your players find a solution to unmasking the con artist is the focus of the episode. Even though we don't have the name of the con artist or even the species of the con artist, that's actually something you could, if you're doing this in a TTRPG, make up. Because of the fact that when you're doing this in a TTRPG, if you're not actually using this specific individual or that specific planet, just go with the basic idea of a con artist who's faking everything and have fun coming up with your own unique twist on it. Because, well, like I said, in this particular case, there's a whole lot of history that the character supposedly has that we never see. And that's something that would be fun to tinker with in a TTRPG. It's like, if this is one place this person has been, where else has she been? Hmm. We don't actually know in any thing about her in this particular episode. So the fact that her backstory in the episode is kind of complete unknown, there's not really a whole lot of, I guess you could say, meat there. It's all it's fertile ground for making your own stuff up, but it's not fertile ground for playing things as they lay. because it's an unknown. Oh yeah. Also, she put it in position Mindora and Torak. What exactly? Who are those? We didn't look at those. Yeah. Okay. We don't know anything about the Belarusian cluster. Let's see. Torak. Well, I'm pretty sure that this is another one of those that she just mentions by name, and we don't see at all. We don't know anything about the race that she name drops. He's like, "Oh yeah, these guys called me that name, and I'm their version of the devil too." It's like, yes, but we've never heard of those people. We don't know anything about them, which could actually be the entire point of this. You could have your team could call out Ardra for name dropping someone they don't know anything about. It's like, is this supposed to impress us? Because it doesn't. Oh yeah, and I think that's about enough of this because again, it's like it's all everything in this episode is talking about Ardra, and the entire point of having the players do stuff is to unmask Ardra as a fake, or maybe steal Ardra stuff, or both. Because quite frankly, at the end of this episode, having Ardra get locked up in prison on this planet, the locals aren't going to confiscate her ship. They would probably have the Federation haul it off. And if it's a group of players, having players haul off Ardra's ship would mean the players are probably going to mess with it. Yeah, that could be fun. That's actually an interesting point, though, because I don't remember Ardra is what I don't remember what Ardra's ship even looks like. One last thing. Ardra's ship. Okay, here we are. Dum 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 dum. There's no picture. Huh. Okay, so in one of the DC Comics Star Trek tie-ins, they had a ship where you actually could see it, but for the most part, the ship stays cloaked the entire time, so it doesn't require the crew of the plot or model designers to actually build a model for Ardra's ship because they just hand wave it. It's like, oh well, we never actually see that. Hmm. Pity. Oh, well. Alrighty then. Well, I guess I'll call it there. See you guys later.